Hey guys, welcome back to a new video, a new weekly analysis in my channel, a new swing trading analysis. So in case you guys don't know, I'm basically doing a weekly analysis every week and just showing you guys the setups I'm planning to take, also showing you the setups I'm currently waiting, and in simple words, showing you and explaining how exactly I trade and the strategy I use or the strategy I've used to reach 600K in funded, to reach a couple of payouts like this ones that you're going to see in the screen right now in just a couple of months, bro. So without further ado, let's get started real quick because to be honest, it's pretty simple. I'm going to try to do my best to do it as fast as possible. First, GBP Chef. So I'm going to show you two trades that I just got stopped out at break even. The first one, GBP Chef, this short position, super simple and straightforward. Liquidity sweep right here, break of structure for value gap. The entire move, as we can see, we were completely bearish, so there was no reason for us to be longing the markets. And in this case, I dragged my fib from this high point to this low point and entered in the 0.75 fib. Price took a lot of time to reach our 1-to-1, move stops break even, and then price recently just got me stopped out. I actually closed earlier because swaps were really bad. I was losing a lot of money in negative swaps. I'm going to attach a screenshot of the MT5 trade. But yeah, in simple words, my bias for this is I honestly expect for price to keep bearish unless price wants to respect this bullish order flow. So at this point, I'm not planning to take any position in this pair specifically because I'm just waiting to see what happens. If I have a break of structure above this high right here, something like that, then I could be looking for some longs. But if that doesn't happen, then I'm just currently maybe waiting to see some bearish momentum and maybe see what happens with this pair. But to be honest, I'm more bearish than bullish, but not involved in that setup anymore. Then Euro NZD also got stopped out in this position. Perfect balanced setup. I took actually this long position. So from this range, right, I basically took this long. And then as soon as I basically saw price reaching this entry, which was actually, in my opinion, the most high quality trade in the entire range. So we were ranging from this high to this low right there. This was a perfect balanced short position, aiming for price to continue the bearish momentum as we can see right there. And it had a liquidity sweep, a break of structure for value gap, all rolls in place. We got tagged, reached our 1-to-1, move stops break even, and we got stopped out today at break even. So now I'm just waiting for two things. Well, we have a bunch of equal highs resting above in this area, right? So honestly speaking, I will not be surprised if price decides to take all this resting liquidity and then maybe create a new higher high. If that's the case, then I will be interested in longing. If price keeps going down, then I will be looking for a short opportunity. So at this point specifically, that's basically what I'm looking at. Just waiting. Chef JPY, I'm completely bullish in this position. I actually have, as you guys can see, already my fib basically placed. I have an alert. I will be more than willing to take this long position. We have plenty of fair value gaps. That's this one right here, this one right there, right next to our entry. And we just recently broke structure here. This is the most recent range. We have a nice range in here also with a big fair value gap. We can see how many equal lows we had in this place, which means a lot of resting liquidity. And price with a lot of momentum grabbed all this liquidity, as you can see, and then we broke structure there. So this is an A+ setup, a textbook setup based on my system. So I will be basically waiting for price to retrace in here and basically get tagged and then move to our hopefully 1 to 3 risk reward. Guys, and before I continue with the video and showing you guys my setups for the week, I want to show you this real quick because the week is just getting started and I know most of you guys are going to get a couple of profit challenges in this next upcoming days. So I want to show you this tool that I've been using. I know you guys already know about it. I only bring kind of like collabs and partnerships that I know are going to be really helpful for you guys, which is Profit Match. We both trade Forex and futures well, and here you're gonna get the best deals at the moment. So if you click on here on offers, we're currently on Forex, we can see all the best discount codes at the moment. We have Alpha Capital, the Fivers, Funding Pips, Private Funded, we have Funded Next, we have all the best deals at the moment at the best or the highest discount available so you can maximize your ROI and get each prop firm at the best deal. Say for example, if you want an Alpha Capital account, you guys can just use their code MATCH30. You click there, you put that on Alpha Capital checkout page, and you're gonna get a 30% off, which is the best discount in Alpha Capital at the moment. hey, I trade futures. Well, you click here up here on futures and you scroll down, and same thing, you're gonna find the best discounts for each prop firm at the moment. You can just use their match code and you're gonna get it for a really good deal. And of course, maximize your ROI, which is the most important thing. So guys, please make sure you are using prop firm match so you don't miss out on great opportunities. You maximize your ROI and get the best deals, of course, at the moment. So now let's keep going with the rest of the video. So that's what I'm looking at there. USD CAD, same similar situation. We have a liquidity sweep here, right? And we have a breakup structure. This is a bit more aggressive, but completely valid. And we also have a fair value gap. So that's my 3 rolls in there. And I'm just waiting for price to go up. We can also see by the EMA, I don't even use the EMA, like I can literally just do this, but this of course helps us to identify trend way faster. We can see that we're completely trending to the upside, though in my opinion there's no reason why to take a short position in this pair specifically. So I'm only bullish, only looking for longs. Then EuroCHF, super nice short. I will be waiting for price to retrace to this point right here, tuck this in, and then, well, hopefully have a nice momentum to the downside, but that's what I'm looking at the moment. We have a super strong liquidity sweep in here. You guys can see how a lot of equal highs were resting above. Price took the liquidity, and then we recently broke structure, and there's also a lot of fair value gaps in the move, even one here on our entry. So super nice setup. I'll be just waiting for price to start retracing and hopefully tag this in. I do see some momentum to the downside. So if price starts breaking structure and starts creating new lows, basically making this a bit more overextended, then I will not be interested in that position. But that's what I'm looking at the moment. Then we have NZD CAD, perfect palette setup. We are completely bullish, as you guys can see right there. We actually recently broke this structure, which is a main structure. So now I will be basically waiting or interested in price taking this major high right there. So for that to happen, price needs to keep going up. But as we can see, we're starting to see some bearish momentum. I will be actually very interested if price wants to consider this liquidity with a lot of momentum, take all that liquidity and hopefully tag this in to keep that momentum going. So I also have an alert and I'm also more than willing to take this long. Then AUD USD, this is a more aggressive range, but as we can see, price basically failed to make lower lows. So this was the range I had initially. I actually took this position and got stopped out at break even. So I basically see this, that's what I was seeing before. And we can see that price tag this in, right? First entry, tried going down, couldn't. Tried going down again, it couldn't. So it's kind of like sellers have no strong momentum to the downside. There's not too much selling pressure. So in my opinion, in this case, and based of course on my system, this is the most recent range, which is a bit more aggressive, but you guys know that I'm more aggressive. This is basically the range. So I would be more than willing to take this short position if I do have a nice retracement. But to be honest, because I'm super bullish, I don't actually expect, or I don't have like a big feeling that price is going to keep going down. I think that based on this small retracement, now we might actually get the final push. And if we break structure here, then my setup becomes less valid. But I do really want to see price going up in this next upcoming days on AUD USD. Then AUD NZD, to be honest, nothing. Super bullish. Maybe if you guys are a bit more conservative, you could have taken this long position, which in my opinion, instead of being a 4-hour setup, it's more like a daily setup. But honestly speaking, there was only a short position, like a short opportunity, which was this one right here, right? That was the only opportunity. But if we see the bigger picture, then this short position was valid, but also the long position, which again, it's a bit more conservative. So now, after we just broke structure here, I honestly think that price is gonna just keep going up in the next coming days, and maybe we can see some bullish position unless price wants to immediately take liquidity and start looking for some shorts, basically targeting this liquidity right there. But honestly, I don't have any setups there. I just really need to see some structure created. Then AUD CAD, nothing there. We can maybe see this one, which is a bit more aggressive, right? I do like it, to be honest, because I'm bullish in this pair. Same thing as AUD USD, for example, or AUD NZD. So that's a nice opportunity. And also the EMA sitting right above our entry, which is nice. Then AUD JPY, for example, I have an alert here because Same scenario as AUD/USD. This is an aggressive setup, but I do like it a lot. I'm completely bullish in this pair. As you can see, we're completely bullish. Like, you guys can basically see the previous trend. So honestly speaking, for me, it's more high quality to be in the long position, or in this case, buying than selling. And we can see that, of course, it's aggressive, but we had some momentum to the downside, grabbing liquidity, breaking structure here, right? And then we have this fair value gap in there. So honestly speaking, I'm seeing at something like that as a completely valid trade based on my system, with a nice, super juicy fair value gap there. Then AUD/CHF, honestly nothing. I'm just seeing ranging market in here. So I will not be interested in taking anything in this pair unless I see something like this. Say, for example, price breaking this low and then we could short, or the other way around, price breaking this high and then we could long. Aside from that, I'm not interested in anything. Then CAD/CHF, we have the short position that is honestly very big, overextended. I really don't like the break of structure. Oops. So yeah, it's more kind of like a daily setup. And honestly speaking, when it's a super overextended, I'm not honestly interested in taking those. For example, for me, it was more valid this liquidity sweep, right? This break of structure, and if we would have had something like that, let's say we broke structure and price then retraced, something like that would have been more interesting for me, something like this. So price retracing and then breaking structure. But in this case, the selling pressure was really strong. There was a lot of bearish momentum, and we never had that retracement after this break of structure. Of course, we had it before, not after, and I only take it after there is a break of structure. So no setup for me. Then CAD/JPY, honestly, as you can see, I even have some lines in there, so we're still ranging. We're in between this high and this low. So for me, there's literally no setup at all unless we break or this high or this low. Right now, we're consolidating, so I would never take a trade or a setup in this specific pair if it looks like that. Then we have USD/JPY, same thing. We don't have actually no momentum at all. We're just in a barcode price action right there. So no momentum. So if there's no momentum, there's no liquidity, and there's no clear range, then I'm out. So I'm not taking anything unless we have some nice structures created. Honestly, I would like something like that. So with a lot of momentum, taking liquidity from all these lows right there, and then breaking structure to the upside, because to be honest, I would honestly like for price to take this major high, right? So if that happens, then I will be willing to take something like this and keep going up. So unless I see something like that, I'm not taking anything there. Then USD/CHF, I have this short, actually. In my opinion, it's super nice. I have this liquidity sweep, which is not the cleanest liquidity sweep, but at the same time, I'm not the most peaky human being with liquidity sweeps. In my opinion, liquidity sweep is basically created when we have some strong momentum to the opposite side before breaking structure to the other side. I don't know if I was clear with that explanation, but in this case, I do see this as a valid liquidity sweep. We have a lot of momentum, as you guys can see right there. And then we break structure to the opposite side with a lot of momentum. So honestly, that's for me way more than enough to consider this trade valid. And also considering the trend, we're completely bearish. So I will be expecting, or I would like to see this low being taken out. Of course, price is still really far away. Like if we actually track our roller or measure here, we're still basically 50 pips away from our entry. So we'll see what happens. I have an alert in there. Then in here, honestly, I don't see much. I'm just seeing this range. So I would like to see price maybe breaking this high here. If it doesn't, then breaking some lows and maybe targeting this. But honestly, we're just consolidating. Honestly, all JPY pairs are consolidating right now, most of them. So I'm not willing to take anything at the moment. Then we have this one, EuroCAD. Honestly, I don't see anything right away. The only thing I see is something like that. But for me, I don't know. It's not my favorite setup. This one, for example, was valid in case you guys are, again, super conservative. This is a super slow trade. Like it's a really huge, ginormous setup. Like this is a daily. If we actually go to the daily time frame, you guys can see that it looks much cleaner. So we have the liquidity sweep, the break of structures. So this is a daily setup. It's not a 4-hour setup, actually. So the continuation setup, if you guys want to continue to that idea, which is basically taking this high right here, well, if price retraces, you could maybe look for some longs. But me personally, I'm not actually interested in that. I do see maybe price in the next upcoming days going up and taking this high, but I think it's going to take some time and we might actually consolidate before getting there. Euro USD, this is a really aggressive entry, but same thing happens here actually. So I think similar to AUD USD. So we had this trade from this basically range. We had the short position. I was actually not able to take that trade. I missed out on this winning position because price got really fast to my entry on some high impact news. And then, well, we never had the reject. We never had price. And then price never retraced again. So I was not fast enough to place my pending. But as you can see, the movement was already done. So to be honest, now I'm more interested in maybe price taking this high right here, right? Taking this high, breaking structure. So if we do see some movement to the downside, this could be a perfect valid setup, just targeting this high right here. So basically just a continuation move, knowing that this short position or the short idea has been already delivered. So now I don't kind of like expect, or I will never take this short position again because it was already accomplished. Like the trade, the short position, the trade idea, shorting this trade, this setup was already done. We can see that we already hit the final take profit. Well, in my opinion, now we could be targeting some highs. So I will be more interested in taking the long than the short. So that's something I have. That's something I actually am going to place an alert and evaluate if we take that setup or not. I'm going to place an alert here. But same scenario, to be honest, I don't think price is going to get to this point and then go up. I actually might think price might retrace from this fair value gap and do something like this without us, which is, well, based on my data, it's more likely for that to happen than just go to our 0.75 fib and tag this in, but it's all good. Then we have Euro GBP. Honestly, nothing. You guys can clearly see right away if you understand how I trade. There's literally nothing wrong. There's literally nothing. The only thing, if you guys are super aggressive, could be something like that, like from this high, this low, and this one, something like that. But bro, to be honest, for me, that's extremely aggressive, so I'm not willing to take that. Also knowing that price already respected 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, so maybe a 4th time. For me, this is just resting liquidity that is most likely for price to just take that out. Again, this is not financial advice, this is just how I see the markets. Then Euro AUD, honestly, nothing. Maybe this could be a possible scenario, right? So we could be looking at this, basically going counter trend to the trend. So basically a counter trend move, which again, this is more like a daily setup. This is more conservative. So price might take a lot of time to get here. But so honestly speaking, based on my system, I will be more interested to taking a short because we're creating basically new ranges. So this one right here is a new range. It's basically getting breaking now. So we're starting to see some bearish momentum. So I will be, for example, I'm not taking this, right? Because it's a bit more aggressive, but for example, something like this will be more kind of like in comparison to the way I trade and the way I've tested. But again, if you guys are conservative, this is not bad, to be honest. We had this range right here, this high, this low, that range. Instead of price respecting this short position and going down, we actually went to the other direction, disrespected the bearish trend and broke structure with a lot of momentum. So we might actually see, it's possible, this position right there and just basically change the entire trend we were respecting for a couple of days. So that's something that you guys can keep in mind of. You guys can basically have in the watch list and see how it plays out. Then NZD CHF, nothing, to be honest, unless now we can see that price is finally breaking structure with momentum. So if we have a nice push to the downside with body closure, breaking this structure right here, this will be a perfect setup for me. So I will be just willing to wait for price to retrace and then go down because we have a nice fair value gap in there. So honestly, I'm going to have that on my watch list this next upcoming days. Then NZD USD, nothing. We're still ranging between this high and this low. Why this high? Because there's no break of structure with body closure yet. You guys can see that no candle has closed with body closure above this high. So I'm still in this range. So for me, it's consolidating. I'm not looking at anything there. NZD JPY, I actually have this alert. In my opinion, it's an interesting setup. I'm honestly bullish. We can see that we were completely bullish there. Price respected this range. So basically from this low to this break of structure. So that was basically the range. So from here to here, and price respected this, grabbed liquidity in here. We grabbed liquidity there, and we broke structure. And then we created this equal lows, basically this liquidity that price just took out. Yeah, we took this liquidity. So now we'll actually like to see if price may be going a little bit lower, and then just basically taking this high, which is my main target right there, because we can see that there's a lot of liquidity resting above, which, by the way, this might be a bit discretional, but again, it's super simple. It's just the way I see the markets. And in my opinion, when I'm kind of like looking for setups, I'm not kind of like making a lot of drawings. I just, let's go back to the previous pair, this one right here. I just go here, okay, NZD USD, I don't see nothing. I just click on space, go to the next one. Oop, this is the most recent range. Immediately I drag my fib. That's it. Super simple. Why? Because it's the most recent range. This break of structure right here, right, with body closure. We have this liquidity sweep, and also we have a fair value gap, right? With these videos, I just kind of like explain a little bit what my brain identifies right away, but I don't overcomplicate things when I'm trading, and I don't kind of like, go super low and see, so this is rejecting from a weekly support and resistance, or I honestly don't pay attention to that. I'm only sticking to the 4-hour time frame. Then we have GBP AUD. I actually had this marked up because I don't know why. I'm not taking this setup, by the way. I'm not in this position at all. I don't know. Honestly, I just feel that price is going to go lower in this pair because we're completely bearish. We just grab liquidity from here. We're struggling to go up. So I'm more kind of like bearish than bullish in this position. But in this pair, sorry. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens. Honestly, I would like price maybe to take and get to this fair value gap right there. So that's what I'm looking at the moment in that pair. But honestly, based on my system, there's no positions at all. So I'm not taking anything there. Then GBP CAD, nothing. I'll be just waiting for a price to take liquidity from here, or basically take that high. And aside from that, I don't have anything. As you can see, this is the most recent range. So from this high to this low. But that's not actually a range. It's super kind of like small. It's more like a 1-hour setup. And it's super aggressive and also overextended as well. If we track the fib, we can see that the 0.5 fib is way above our break of structure. So I'm not interested in that position. I'm just waiting to see a more clean structure. If price maybe goes here and creates something like that, then I will be willing to just take a nice long position here, right? Something like that. Aiming, as I mentioned, aiming for this high right there, which is honestly interesting, and that's why I see the liquidity going for. Then three more setups, three more pairs, GP and NZD. Beautiful setup, honestly, in here. So I will be more than willing to take or wait for price to retrace and tag this in, because I honestly see these three highs. You can see how beautiful they are. It's literally a trend line. I do see this as a liquidity, so I will honestly be waiting for a price, or I will not be surprised if price takes that high in the rest upcoming days. Then we have GBP/USD. This is a interesting position. It's more aggressive. So from this low to this high, honestly, I'm really interested in this position. I see this pair going up this next upcoming days. I don't take this short position. For me, this short position is definitely not valid. First, we don't have a liquidity sweep. We don't have momentum to the upside taking some sort of liquidity. And also, it's extremely overextended. You guys can see my 0.5 fib. That's kind of like a way I find some setups that are overextended or price already did the move. Now, I do see this as a perfect valid liquidity point for price to just retrace a little bit more, tag this in, and then take this liquidity. Price could also easily just kind of like manipulate this and then go up, but I do see in the next upcoming days price taking this high right there. So I will be more than interested in taking this long position, and I'm actually gonna place an alert in this pair right there. So we have Euro USD long and then GBP USD long, and finally GBP JPY. I do see this long position, right? To be honest, I do see this pair a bit kind of like consolidated, as you can see right there, but I honestly see some bullish momentum and I need to stick to the rules, we have basically this. If we kind of like mark each high and low, so low, high, low, high, this one right here, this one right here, and we just recently broke this one right there. So if we want to continue the bullish momentum, also respecting the EMA, we might expect some bearish momentum. We might basically actually take all this liquidity resting above. You guys can see all this resting liquidity, right? Taking that, and I would actually be interested in seeing something that like that playing out. So I'm gonna place an alert and basically see if this setup works out or not. So I'm gonna place an alert here. And yeah, man, that's basically everything for now so far. Those are all the setups and my market analysis and my market watch list for this week. So I hope you guys liked the video. I hope it kind of like it's useful for you guys. And we'll see you, and I'll see you guys on the next video on my channel. Take care. Have a great trading week. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is the way I trade, the way I identify my setups and take my positions. So if it's useful and if you guys want to trade this way, well, make sure to test this out first. Make sure to gather a lot of data, backtest a lot, and then you can execute this in the live markets. But of course, if you guys have any questions, make sure to reach out to me on Instagram. Also, you can leave the comments in here if you guys have any questions, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Have a great week.